Alright, we're factorising trinomials, don't worry about the name. Just probably learn how to just spot these, okay? So there's a couple of telltale signs of these ones. There's three terms. You've got, they follow that rule where you've got ax squared plus bx plus c. They follow that rule. So what they're going to look like is they're going to look like, I can see straight away this one's going to be a b times a b, like this. And the way that I do this, there's heaps of different ways of doing this, but the way that I do this is I have a look at this number on the end, and what I'm doing in my head is I'm making a list of all of the factors of that number. Now this one's pretty easy because I've only got 1 and 7, okay? And I'm going to try and work out how to make an 8 out of that, okay? Now for the people who are going to do this in a slightly more advanced way, okay, so if no one's taught you this last year, this is the bit to do, okay? So this is step number 1 for me, looking at that number. Step number 2, I actually look at this symbol here. If this one is a plus, it means that both the symbols inside the brackets will be the same. And this one tells me that they'll be pluses. So that means straight away as I build this, I can put pluses in. Now if that is a minus, now I'm talking about this one here, if this one's a minus, then we know that there's going to be one of each. There's going to be a plus and a minus, okay? And then the only thing that I've got left to do is just select which factors I decided I liked and just sort of pop them into the brackets. So I've got like a 1 and a 7, and 1 plus 7 makes 8. So that one's factorised, okay? Now, I'll try and pick another one for you. So let's have a look at the second one, might as well. Remember, step number 1, I'm having a look at the number 10, and in my head, or on scrap paper, I'm writing down the factors of that number, but I'm writing them in pairs. So I've got 1 and 10, because 1 times 10 makes 10. And I've got 2 and 5, okay? They've got to be called as factors together. Then I start to build my little expressions. So I'm going to put my brackets in with my ends. And to start filling in this bracket, the next thing that I do is I have a look at this symbol. And because it's a plus, I know both the symbols will be the same. And this tells me they'll both be minuses. So they're both negatives. And now I'm just trying to match a pair. So minus 2 minus 5 is going to make minus 7. That won't work. But minus 1 minus 10 will make minus 11. So that's, whoops, that's supposed to be 10, sorry. Minus 1 minus 10 will make minus 11, so that's nice. Now let me try and do one for you that has got a negative.
If there's always a negative in the first part equation, will both sides just be negative?
Yeah, so this bit's really important, okay? If I just try and change to a red highlighter, if this symbol here is positive, both symbols when you're building your expression will be the same. And this one will tell you that they're both positive. So if this one's positive, they'll both be the same. And because this one's negative, I know they'll both be negatives, okay? So glancing ahead at the next question, I can see that that one is negative, and that means I'm going to have a plus and a minus, okay? And this one's probably going to be pretty nasty because there's probably going to be a lot of factors of 45, of 90, okay? So now, I'm going to try and narrow this down for myself because we're, pretty strong mathematicians in this room. We can probably imagine here that if I actually wrote down a list of all the factors of 90, I'd be here for quite some time, okay? But you see how this number here is a 1? They must be close together, okay? So I'm going to go with probably 10 and 9 are going to be my factors, and that's the one that I'm going to test. So I'm going to test that. I'm looking at 9 and 10 as my factors of 90. And then if I go back to what Jai's talking about here, this one's negative, so that means I'm going to have a plus and a minus, one of each symbol. And now all I've got to do is just use 9 and 10 to make positive 1. So I'll deliberately get this wrong the first time, so don't copy me. If I made this a positive 9 and this a negative 10, I'd end up with -1. That would be the wrong answer, okay? So that's not right. So I'm deliberately manipulating them so that I get the right answer. So if I make this one positive 10 minus 9, then I know I'll end up with a positive 1 and I've got it right. How does that sound? Do you guys want me to do one more?
Yeah.
One more? All right, so question 4, let's have a look at it. Start off with, we've got 12, okay? So factors of 12 might be 1 and 12, 2 and 6, 3 and 4. By this stage, you might have skipped ahead and just gone, oh, it's probably going to be 2 and 6 because I can make 4 out of those and the others are going to be hard, but it doesn't matter if you haven't, just write them out. Next thing, I start building my little sort of skeleton, if you like, of my expressions. So I'll put in my brackets like this because I know it's going to look like that. And now I'm looking at this symbol here. It's a minus, which tells me that in my brackets I'm going to have one of each symbol, a plus and a minus. And now I'm looking for a pair of those factors that will make positive 4, okay? And so I've identified these ones because 6 minus 2 makes 4. So positive 6 minus 2 makes positive 4, and it's factorised. Now this in itself is not particularly useful, okay, because these are just expressions. But what we'll do on Monday is we'll make these equations equal 0, okay, and this will give us our x-intercepts on the graph, okay. So when we apply null factor on Monday, you'll learn that that means that this line will pass down through -6, okay, so this is -6. It will turn, and then it will come back up through 12, -12, and I'm getting that from this number here, and then it will come back up through +2, which will come from this number here, and we'll have 3 of the 4 points that we need to plot this, okay? So just so you know where we're headed with this, but you don't need to be able to do that today. Today, we've just got to be able to factorise trinomials.